Thanks for tuning in for another episode of Unreal Talk. I'm Brian. That's Dave.
The Orange Ranger.
It's like...
See? Orange.
Not enough orange. So, if you haven't guessed by Dave's segue, today we're going to talk about Power Rangers.
That's right. Ham-fisted like that scene in the porno movie. Shove it right in there.
Power Rangers, the porno?
Yeah, I haven't actually looked. I should probably do that.
Yeah. So, if you haven't seen it yet, the thing that brought about this particular episode was a fan film that came out. Do you remember the director's name?
Joseph Kahn.
Oh, yeah.
Kahn!
Yeah, so he's an established director.
Yeah, but he's not the big deal. It's the producer that's the big deal. Adi Shankar. Very Indian name for a very eccentric guy.
He's like the Crow.
Paint.
Yeah, he's like the Crow.
Pretty badass, though. I'm not going to lie. I respect the hell out of him. Do you remember that Punisher thing he did? Dirty Laundry?
Oh, yeah.
And the Venom, the Truth, and that was actually good stuff.
Yeah.
But then he had to go fucking with the Power Rangers.
Yeah, nobody fucks with the Power Rangers, but,
now, don't take that the wrong way. I love that fan movie. I think it's probably the freshest, most original thing to come out of the Power Ranger name ever.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and link Power Rangers, Power/Rangers.
To the slash.
Yeah, because that's what it's called, down below. Now, if you haven't seen it yet, which that means you're like 10% of the internet at this point, who grew up in the 90s, 80s, 90s.
Because, I'm not going to lie, when that hit the fan, it hit the fan. Because everybody and their grandma watched it, and everyone was like, oh my god, it was this big mix of I hate it, I love it, I hate it, I love it. And then Saban comes along, and they're like, take it away, we don't want it. And it's, fuck them.
Yeah, exactly. And they did, though. I mean, they temporarily had it taken down for, 2 days or something like that?
Well, the official videos were taken down. But within 5 minutes of it showing up, there was 100 other places you could have watched it.
Yeah, because people were smart enough to realize this thing wasn't licensed, and so they better scoop it up just in case.
Because fuck you, this is the internet. What, do you think you're going to stop it? You can't stop the signal, bitches.
Don't stop believing. Do-do-do-do. In the internet.
The fuck? Okay. Anyway, so the backlash hit, and, the Green Ranger, Tommy, Jason David Frank, I like the guy, he's a good actor, he does a lot of good work, he uses his, his position as the recognized figure. Yeah, it's typecasting, but he's embraced it to the point where he uses that to do good things, and that's awesome. But, he came down on it and said, oh, it's not for kids. Like, well, no shit.
Yeah.
It's not for kids. It says, dark, gritty remake.
Yeah. And,
this ain't SpongeBob.
Yeah. I kind of feel sorry for Jason David Frank, though. That's one thing I think I want to talk about, was just how he's stuck. He's like one of those people that are stuck in their glory days, that was like the star football captain in high school or whatever, and then that's like the top part of their
Although,
life.
In his case, it's almost forgivable. Because, the guy who's stuck in those high school years, who was the quarterback, goes on to work at a gas station or deliver pizzas and doesn't do anything about it. At the very least, he's taken his high school football and has become a major league coach.
True.
Because he is making other movies, he's doing other things, and yeah, sure, he's recognized as a Power Ranger. He's been back in that franchise 4 fucking times.
Yeah.
That guy, I mean, it'd be one of those things I expect to see in an episode someday, of him getting ready and walking past, like, a little display case with 4 different morphers in it, and he's like, what color do I feel like wearing today?
Saban, calls him and says that, they need him to appear on the show as one of the Rangers. And he opens up his closet, and he's like, which one? And he's pulls out the outfit of
push a colored button on the wall, and the outfit just slides out. Because, he's been in a lot of stuff. Like, he showed up in the Legends War as the Green Ranger, which, don't even get me started on how that's not even possible by the storyline. But, you see, that's where you got to take a step back.
Yeah.
Just like watching X-Men movies. I just take a step back, have another drink, and pretend I never read a comic before.
Yeah.
Because you know those powers, he gave them to his clone that stayed back in time in that one episode? And that was supposed to be it. But then all of a sudden, he shows up in Legends War as the Green Ranger. And it's like, we're not supposed to talk about this? We're not supposed to say, how the fuck did this happen? No, of course not.
Well, what if it's possible that the Green Ranger power could actually sustain somebody for as long as they actually have the ability?
Well, I guess it would be possible, but, you know, I guess he just shows up and he's like, I guess I'm going by Tommy now because everyone knows this face is Tommy.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, like, okay, so then we get to Forever Red, the episode where all the Red Rangers showed up.
Yeah.
Okay, Austin St. John shows up as a Red Power Ranger. I got no problem with that. That guy is awesome. And if you haven't seen it lately, that fucking beard.
Oh, yeah, I have,
Dude,
actually.
Oh, my God. But, yeah, he fucking burly motherfucker. But, yeah, okay, so he shows up as the Red Mighty Morphin Power Ranger. Tommy shows up as the Red Zeo Ranger. It's like, you know what? They never did come up with a reason for them to stop using the Zeo powers other than we had some better shit in Zordon's closet.
Yeah.
So, okay, I can forgive that. But then he shows up again in the Dino Thunder.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, yeah, I'm a scientist. I'm making morphers now. Like,
actually,
you could do that the whole time.
Actually, you know what? That explains a lot, though. How he can show up as like 5 different Rangers.
He just goes into his little lab and he's like, what do I feel like doing today?
Yeah.
Like, I miss my green outfit. Punch, 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 click. But there was some shit that never got explained, though. Like, you remember Adam, the Black Ranger from the movie, the one who was the Ninja Ranger, you know, Johnny Young,
the frog,
Bosch,
yeah.
The one who does all the voice work and is, like, super fucking successful.
Yeah.
Okay, so he shows up in a crossover episode, pulls out his morpher. That thing is fucked up. It's got cracks through it, the coin is partially broken, and they're like, dude, if you use that again, it could probably kill you. And he's like, fuck it, I'm going to save the day. And he morphs, and it's all good. But then the morpher just kind of, and he's like, oh, shit. But then there was another episode where they had like, classic Rangers show up. Don't you know that motherfucker's back with a brand new morpher?
You know why? Because Tommy's giving motherfuckers morphers.
Tommy is an underground power dealer.
He's just like, you want a morpher, you want a morpher.
Everybody gets to look under your chair. There's a power morpher.
Like, oh, sweet Dino Thunder.
Like, man, I got a Zeo crystal. This is bullshit.
The fuck cell phone?
But yeah. Like, this will go great with my jungle... Wait, what? Jungle Fury? I got a fucking cell phone? Like, hey, you could be a samurai ranger and just paint your symbol in the air.
Yeah, magical paintbrush.
Okay, look, I'm going to tell you right now. I watched from Mighty Morphin all the way up to Power Rangers in Space. When they went into space, I logged out. Because that's when I just was like, really? Space?
Yeah, it's like
Zordon. Got enough problems on Earth. You go into space. Okay. The only way that show would have been redeemed, and I would have gone back to watch it, is if they came back at the end of In Space and found humanity enslaved by a bunch of evil guys that showed up while the Power Rangers were on vacation.
That would be so hilarious. Like,
then we can make a fan film out of it and almost get sued by a bunch of fucking assholes.
Yeah. Actually, no, that was the original end of The Hobbit, by the way. I don't know if
the Power Rangers came back from space?
Exactly. No, actually,
Damn.
Actually, I haven't watched any of the Hobbit movies still. I've mentioned this before on the show.
I remember in the book he got knocked the fuck out, and then he woke up, and shit had already happened.
Oh, wait, no. Oh, that was a Lord of the Rings. That's right. They didn't have that in Lord of the Rings, but after they all got back from their adventure, the tree guy, you know, at the end, had gone back and enslaved all of the hobbits in the Shire. So there was, like 5 chapters of them, like, battling this dude and, like, freeing that. And then he got on the boat and fucked off at the end.
Yeah. But didn't they kill the tree guy in the thing?
No, they mentioned he was in prison, but they never mentioned him again.
Bunch of crazy-ass retellings and silly shit. But, yeah, actually, I did start watching again, though. Like, I caught some shows as they were going on. Like, my favorite one was Ninja Storm.
Oh, yeah.
Because that gave me what I always wanted. Like, okay, you know, Tommy started out as an evil ranger, which is kind of cool, but he redeemed himself, and he was only evil because there was a magic spell on him. This show, you got these people who are running it, who are in the ninja school, and they're the worst students, they missed the boat on getting kidnapped. So the boss is like, well, this is all I got. I better give these guys some morphers so they can save the world. Which is weird, because apparently, from what I've seen in later shows, all the Power Rangers exist all at once, all over the fucking world.
Yeah.
So it kind of makes you wonder why evil starts showing up at all.
Wasn't there some point, too, I don't remember which series it was, because there's so damn many of them, where they had to tap into, like, all of the powers of, like, all of the Rangers that existed throughout the galaxy?
I remember there was a point where they used all of Zordon's energy, which was supposed to be, like, the power of good, to blow up and destroy all of the evil in the universe.
Yeah.
Remember Lord Zed and Rita turned into humans?
Oh, yeah, and then started dancing.
Yeah, on the moon.
But that's okay, because they got better.
Yeah, I guess.
Well, Rita came back as, like, a school teacher or something.
Well, she was, like, the Rita was, like, reformed as a good guy.
Yeah.
And she became, like, the leader of the... She became the Zordon for one of the shows. Because I haven't watched them all. But, yeah, Ninja Storm gave me what I wanted. Which was 2 Rangers from another ninja school who were actually siding with the bad guy because they'd been lied to.
Yeah.
He was taking advantage of them, and they were like, well, fine, we'll work for you then, so we can get revenge.
Of course, you totally knew it was going to happen by the middle of the season,
Yeah.
but still, I mean, that was kind of a refreshing change of pace.
I mean, although the Psycho Rangers were kind of cool. Remember the black uniforms and the red and the different colors? Yeah, it was pretty cool. But even that was just another bad guy plot convenience.
Yeah. Well, the Psycho Rangers, that was from, like, the first season, wasn't it? Where those bullies were given the morphers?
No, that was at one point where they gave some putties, like, pseudo-powers.
Oh, yeah, where they were just the Rangers, but they had, like, still the putty arms.
Yeah, putty hands and putty feet. And putty belts. And it was like, okay, I guess.
I encourage you at home to say putty, because you know what? It's fun.
Yeah, putties.
Putty. You know, also, if you have the time, IMDb the original Power Ranger shows, because you know who had far more expanding careers than almost every original Power Ranger?
The voice of Alpha.
Well, yeah, I mean physical careers.
Invader Zim.
Yeah.
Fuck your physical careers.
Yeah, but no, 3 of the putties have done more work than most of the Rangers combined. If you want to see what Zack did after Power Rangers, go see House of the Dead 2.
Locker Zombie number 3.
That's right.
You lucky dog.
Yep.
Locker Zombie number 3 of all things.
So Hip Hop Keto got him.
What about you? What about your favorite show?
I'd have to say, really, the original is ultimately my favorite show of all of them. I mean, it's the one that I grew up on. I know that's like the default answer for everybody is always, it's the one that I grew up on. But I mean, they just started getting more and more, like, you know, complicated as time went on. It's like the mythos just kept expanding to the point where now it's just like, they're like fucking plugging action figures into their morphers and they're just becoming whoever they want because they can.
Which was funny because, you know, they went to all the trouble to have the end of the Legendary War where basically all these people that used to be Power Rangers show up again in their costumes and they're all like, we're here to help. And they jump into battle alongside the Rangers to fight an army of basically, like, you know, a near infinite number of putties for all intents and purposes. But yeah, okay, so I'm looking at that and it's like, that's an awful lot of work and completely unexplained shit. Yeah. Because there shouldn't even be half of the Mighty Morphin team anymore. Because they all went on to be Zeo Rangers and then Turbo Rangers and so on. I mean, they let the little kid keep his Turbo Morpher when he didn't go into space. Because he showed up for a crossover later. Huh. I actually found a YouTube video, top 10 Power Rangers crossovers, and that was the one that shocked the shit out of me. It was like, hey, isn't that little fucker from... And he's like, switching to Turbo, and I'm like, son of a bitch. They left him the morpher and the car. He's not even 12. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, that was a little more complicated than it needed to be, because in the Japanese show, they kind of had this, like, hazy thing where all of the power keys kind of came to life in kind of a swirly hallucination deal, and then you saw the original actors who played the parts kind of transpose with their Ranger counterpart, and then they just turned into a big gun and they blew the fucking monster up. With a big 35, because 35 years of Super Sentai.
Because, you know, it's kind of like Megatron.
Yeah.
You know, that's the most useless transformation is the original Megatron, too. He turns into a gun that someone else has to fire. Yeah, we're not talking about Transformers.
Yeah, well, not yet. We'll get around to Transformers eventually. Let's see. Favorite Zords. See, I was kind of torn on that when I was making the list of stuff to go over, because I like the Dragon Zord.
Yeah.
You know, the Dragon Zord is like the old school. I mean, it combines with it's okay. Yeah. I like it. But the other one I saw when I was watching Time Force, the Quantosaurus Rex, that thing was a fucking monster. Because you know what the Dragon Zord couldn't do? Run.
Yeah, that's true.
This thing was a fast-moving T-Rex with a fucking Gatling cannon on one shoulder. And it's just like, no, sorry, you can't beat that.
Yeah. Well, then again, that was before they started using CGI, too, for the shows. So.
It's true, but still.
Yeah. As far as, like Zords go, I really had to go back and think about my catalog of Zords while I was thinking this up. And,
Leopardon doesn't count.
Yeah, no.
Unfortunately.
That'll be for something else that we have planned, by the way.
Well, wouldn't that have been badass if that showed up in the end of the Japanese Super Sentai thing?
In the Forever Red, if they all, like, turn and look and, like, Spider-Man standing there.
Spider-Man wearing a bracelet, and they're like, who the fuck is this guy? Like, I'm the emissary of hell. Like, wait, what? Like, he actually said that, like, several times in the show.
Huh.
Yeah. I was watching it last night, just watching on YouTube and shit.
That's how I like to think. Oh, yeah. Well, anyway, my two favorite Zords are not the good guy Zords, which is, a lot of people forget that throughout the series there were actually evil Zords, or at least people controlling Zords.
Eventually, I think that became more common that bad guys got robots, but for the most part, yeah, the original stuff, people forgot that shit.
So Goldar actually had a Zord. You remember Goldar?
Mm-hmm.
Pictured above.
Monkey.
I think I'll do the one that actually had the face rather than like the little like top. Remember the original was it Goldar mask that just had the like the top part that moved when he talked?
That's vintage.
Is actually kind of cute.
Yeah,
that one.
True.
And then like after Zed showed up, that's when they changed it to the grimacing
they
mask.
Changed the puppet where he actually had an opening mouth.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah.
Cyclopsis.
Yeah, Cyclopsis. His Zord was awesome. You should check that out. I'm going to see if I can find a picture of that.
Motherfucker had several forms, as I recall.
Yeah.
They had, like, Power Rangers beat him, and he's like, this isn't even my final form.
Yeah.
Button.
I liked his big, like, you know, Dutch shoes. Remember? Like, they came up and, like, up in the points.
Giant genie clogs. Hell yeah.
And then didn't he have, like, arm blades or something like that that came out? That's pretty badass.
It got kind of outrageous by the end of it. His last form, it was just like, why are you even still doing this?
Yeah. But the one thing that I really loved about him is that he seemed more organic than the other Zords. Like, it was quite possible that, like,
there was, like... just been a monster with a cockpit.
Yeah, pretty much. But it was a Zord. And then the other one was actually Lord Zed's Zord.
Yeah, Serpentera.
Yeah. That thing
Planet Buster.
Yeah, that thing was the size of Earth.
Yeah, it would fucking drop in the middle of a city and blow a planet to pieces.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he only ever got to use it once.
Yeah, but the reason they explained that away, besides the fact that there was very little footage of Serpentera, was the fact that after you fired it, it apparently took an entire season to charge.
Yeah, the batteries had to come back up, and by that point they had already defeated him, so
yeah,
he just left it on the moon until the Machine Empire was like, hey, check out that giant robot dragon.
Yeah, that's what I was going to mention, that one of the other seasons found Serpentera.
That was
and
the
they tried
Forever Red episode.
That's
what brought all of the old Red Rangers together. They're like, oh, by the way, this planet-destroying robot's about to be unearthed. Do we really want all the Rangers? Like, nah, just the red ones. Just the red ones. It'll be fun. It'll be a red thing.
It's like those freaks who have to pick out their Skittles, you know, and only have, like, the one-color Skittles.
Yeah, that is pretty weird. Alright, let's see what else we got here. What about the actual Rangers?
Yeah.
See, my favorite, actually, like, you know, the Green Ranger for a long time, I liked the Green Ranger, but I wouldn't necessarily say he's my favorite. I mean, he's cool. He was the badass that saved the day every a couple episodes, but he didn't really last that long. Actually, if I had to pick a favorite, I would say that the original Yellow Ranger is my favorite.
That's different.
Because she is... Well, she was.
Yeah.
She was gorgeous, sensitive, spiritual, and she had a thing for nerds.
Yeah.
And she was a smoking hot Asian chick.
Yeah. Plus, if you never saw The Crow,
you
should see The Crow. Crow 2.
Yeah, she looks good in a corset, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, as far as Rangers go, she was always the one who was, like, helping Billy, the poor, shy techno-babbling nerd come out of his shell, and he wouldn't have been as cool a character without her around.
Yeah. Which he was never really that cool of a character even late. I mean, he evolved.
Eventually, he got kind of badass. I mean, he was that close before they sent him off to Aquitar as an old man.
Yeah.
He was that close to being like, Green Ranger level badass.
Yeah.
If they did a Blue Ranger reunion and he just showed up out of nowhere, I would shit my pants because that would be awesome.
Yeah. That would be something.
Yeah. Can't even fight that.
Yeah. Scratching at the door. If you guys can hear that and get the joke, you're welcome.
Yeah. It's just a cat, though. It's not Nicolas Cage.
No. Or, that just reminded me of the Marvel Zombies. How do you tell if Ghost Rider's a Marvel Zombie?
Yeah, I wasn't sure about that, because he's still just a flaming skeleton. Ideally, he shouldn't even be able to be bitten by a zombie because he's actually made of fire with bones.
The reason I ask is because they did like a little like preview panel of like the new Marvel Zombies that's coming out in October.
I think he's in one of the ones I already have, but it's just like, how the fuck did that even happen?
Yeah, he was like amongst them, and his like clothes were like fucked up, and he had like fire coming out of it a little bit.
But yeah, there's nothing there to bite. It's all just you know what? Never mind.
So anyway,
favorite Ranger.
Yeah, favorite Ranger. All right, so I'm going to go with the original series here, the Green Ranger from that one. He is the original, like you're saying, he was kind of badass.
Mm-hmm.
I hated Tommy. All right, bear in mind, it's kind of like that it's kind of like the thing with Iron Man.
So let me get this straight. You hate Tommy, but you like the Green Ranger. But you hate Tommy, but you like the Green Ranger.
We'll get back to that too. Yeah. Yeah. All right. So, all right, but bear with me here, okay? So, anyway, Tommy was fucking late to everything. How can a Power Ranger forget their morpher in their locker in school and like go home? Yeah.
It's like, oh, I was in the gym working out. I couldn't wear my communicator. Motherfucker, like, you can wear a watch in the gym.
Yeah,
you ain't that hardcore.
There's like so many excuses, because they only had such limited footage of.
He was only in 3 episodes of the Japanese show before he died.
Yeah, and they were
spoilers. If you ever wanted to watch the Japanese Zyu Ranger,
he was also the brother of the Red Ranger, if I recall.
More spoilers, but yeah, they only had so much footage of the Green Ranger, and they didn't really do original footage of the kids in the costumes at that point. I mean, they were just starting to get into that. Now they do it all. They just make new costumes and fucking shoot new shit. Yeah, but he set the precedence for the Special Ranger that would pop up henceforth through every single freaking season. They had to have that Special Ranger that was different than all of the other ones that would pop up like mid-season or so when the Power Rangers needed him the most. Mm-hmm. But I mean, Tommy was the one who set the precedence. I'm going to say the Green Ranger, because like I said, I can't stand that little snot. Sorry, Jason David Frank. We did have you on the show once. Yeah, we did do the QA. I did the footage of the QA. And like I said, big fan. Love your work. But, the character
as far
of Tommy
as the character,
Oliver, at first.
Yeah. He did evolve, which is another thing. The first Power Ranger series, the characters evolved. They progressed through time. Like Billy,
was a nerd, and then by the end of his run with the show, he actually wasn't wearing glasses anymore. He was dressing nice. He looked like a Big Bang Theory nerd as opposed to the Revenge of the Nerds nerd.
Yeah, even Bulk and Skull, they came back occasionally through some of the other series, and they...
last anybody heard of them, I think, was in Forever Red. They were actually running the juice bar in Angel Grove.
Yeah.
Because, poor Ernie.
Yeah.
Ernie was cool, though.
Yeah. And I like to think that the actual character Ernie, not the actor, was probably crushed by a monster during a fight at some point.
Oh, yeah, just stayed with his juice bar until the very end.
Yeah, but my second favorite Ranger actually would be the Samurai Ranger from Ninja Storm.
He was pretty badass.
Yeah,
he actually had kind of a Billy thing going.
Yeah,
he was a bit of a nerd, and then by the end of it, he was actually, one of the top students.
Now, he was also another one of the Special Rangers, and he actually looked fairly similar. He was kind of like the original the original Green Ranger mixed with the costumes of the Ninja Storm Rangers. But he had this power mode that was absolutely awesome. Like, his helmet turned backwards, and he pulled his, the shield off, and it hit the ground, and the ground cracked, like in Dragon Ball Z with that training equipment they had.
When everyone was wearing weighted clothes to make it, and then they fucking take their shoulder pad off and hit the ground and left a crater.
It exploded, yeah.
But, he's like, okay, super mode, and all of a sudden he flips the fucking gold thing off, it cracks the ground, his helmet spins, and he's like, okay, and now he's moving like fucking light speed.
Yeah. Which you wonder why he just doesn't do that all the time, but I guess the shield adds some protection to,
I mean, it's a shield.
That was one problem I had with the original Green Ranger, though. The only time that I remember him actually using the shield was when he was evil. Remember, he would play the flute when they were firing, and it was just bouncing off of his shield?
And there was that one time they kind of used it with, when they went to get the Titanus, and he was there with the Red Ranger, and they were having kind of getting on each other's nerves, and they had to learn to work together. So they sent him there, and at one point, he actually gave the Red Ranger his shield.
Yeah, he could just do the thing. He also
boom, take it, go.
He also gave him the powers when right before
he lost the powers the second time.
Yeah, right before he lost his powers the second time, he transferred it over to Jason, and Jason had the ability to use the shield and the gauntlet and everything.
Did it again. Ever.
Yeah, it's kind of like the whole Kindred thing from, now this season is over for Sleepy Hollow, so we can say for sure he never came back.
Stupidest shit ever. But anyway, so there was that, which then brings up more questions about him coming back with the Green Ranger thing. But you know what? It's better to just remember that this is a show for kids. Yeah. And kids are not going to ask how Tommy got his powers back.
Yeah, they're like, Green Ranger, yay!
They're like, holy shit, he's in the green again. Oh my god. And my inner 10-year-old is totally jumping up and down and like, oh my god, Green Ranger.
Yeah, exactly. Him showing up this last season on Megaforce, I didn't even question it. It was just like, oh, awesome.
Yeah.
And something that I didn't, on a lesser degree, the Scorpion versus White Ranger fight,
Yeah.
Although those fights aren't really in continuity with anything.
The White Ranger thing was another thing that was kind of funny. Because, there was a whole big thing where there was going to be a White Ranger. And I was like, oh my god, there's going to be a White Ranger. This is going to be so cool. Because what had happened was, in the show, the Zords got fucked up and they went to the new Zords, which were the Thunder Zords, where they could, call their Zords up and they would transform into the new thing. But that was because they got them from a new show. And the White Ranger was part of the new show. Yeah. Which is why his outfit didn't quite look like everyone else's at first. But yeah, they're like, okay, well, there's going to be a new White Ranger. And at one point, I think they actually showed that it was Tommy on the beach, and he gets teleported away somewhere. Yeah. And it's like, oh, that's weird.
It looked painful, though, because...
it did a bit.
I like to think that Zordon just straight up fucking abducted Tommy from... He was, wandering, it's like, we need a new we need a new Ranger.
We can trust this guy, right?
Just walking along, like, oh, fuck, my arm!
Because he was getting out of the water, and all of a sudden he was like, and he got teleported. But, he should have known what teleporting feels like. But either way, there was 2 or 3 other people that they were teasing could be the White Ranger.
They brought in, new characters. Which actually end up later on becoming...
Well, 1 or 2 of them, I think.
Yeah, 1 or 2 of them actually end up replacing the ones that went to the Peace Summit. Remember the...
yeah.
What was... It was Amy Jo Johnson and the dude who played Zack.
And Trini.
Yeah.
It was like most of the team disappeared in that one move.
Yeah, because backstory on that, they decided that if they got together, they could basically...
hold the show hostage for more money.
Yeah, exactly.
Not that they weren't do it. I'm not picking sides, but that was their plan. If we stand up as one and say, give us more money or we're taking off... Yeah,
that Saban couldn't possibly, because the show is so popular, he wouldn't possibly, say no. And you know what Saban did?
You know what we know about him now that we didn't know then? He's an asshole.
Yeah.
I mean, say whatever you want about him letting them put the fan film back up. Honestly, he had no leg to stand on and he knew it. He was just being a dick because he wants to put out a new movie next year, which, by the way, I'm not going to bother seeing because he's an asshole.
Exactly.
You think you're going to make it better because, no, fuck you.
Yeah.
Fuck you up your stupid ass. I really don't think we're mature enough to handle this topic, but we're going to give it a shot.
I'm mature enough to handle it.
Well, we'll see.